Hello. Um, okay, I want to touch on something just briefly. And this is about cleansing, right? And I'm going to try and take it from the video that I was talking about doing the 7-day prayer to ask for guidance, to ask for, for guidance, for for anything, for directions, for whatever it is that you want to pray over. Because say for instance, I'm going to make this example. Say for instance you have been praying, or you did do that prayer, and then you do find someone to go to, and say you find this person, right? And then this person wants to well, firstly, let me put it like this. It should never be about them wanting to do a cleansing. If, and don't get me wrong, it is more than okay for someone to tell you that no, you just need a cleansing, you need to get rid of XYZ, blah 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 blah. But whether or not you do that should be totally up to you, and what is used should be up to you as well. Okay, now let me just take a minute, and because that's the point of this video, right? I want to explain that part. So say for instance you know that you need to do a cleansing, and you know that it has to be a river cleansing, right? Actually, ideally for me, what I would advise people is to, unless it is a specific instruction coming from an ancestor within the reading, then obviously I'll make a different suggestion. But if there is no specific instruction given, right, then I would say that first start with a 3-day cleansing at home, and then do a river cleansing on the 4th day, because river water is very powerful, right? And of course you can just directly go to the river, and if you just use river water by itself, it's fine, right? In fact, for me, that's what this video is to encourage, right? But back to how the sequence of events, or the sequence of the flow that I wanted for this particular video, right? So I'm going to start again. Say you found a healer, and this person says you need a cleansing. If your intuition tells you don't just use anything, don't take something from them to use. And this is not because they're a bad person. I can't know that, or they like something shade with them. Okay, I have my own personal opinions. I will not and they will depending on who, but it doesn't matter. But what's important here is listening to your own inner voice, is listening to your own intuition, right? Because ancestors are very particular about the medicines that we use. They're very particular about the types of things that you put into your body, or you use on your body, or anything, right? And ideally you want to be very clear, because when someone is giving you a reading, right, it can happen 3 ways. There can either be no indication that this person needs to, either they can use traditional medicines, or they can only use prophetic medicines, right? If there is no indication, then it's really going to be up to the person that is consulting. It's going to be up to them. And if this is you, please use discernment. Please pray about it. Please be clear on what it is that you want, because it's really dangerous to just use something from someone, because you don't know what they put in there. They can tell you a million things, but you don't know what they put in there, what intentions they set over this thing, and it could just, and I pray this will never happen to anyone that is listening to me right now, but I really just be careful, right? Because if there is no indication coming from your ancestors in terms of whether you can use traditional medicines or prophetic medicines, then it's going to be up to you. And if it is going to come down to something being up to you, then I really need you to have searched your soul, to be really clear, to have prayed about it, and to be protected. Okay, either way, but it's going to be up to you, right? And don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask anything you want to ask it. Okay. If you feel terrified to ask stuff, then probably not in the right place. Okay. And then for some people it will be specific. Ancestors will be specific. No, this one uses traditional and prophetic, which is prophetic just is wash, and then traditional is meat. So this person can use both. This person should only use the one. This person should only use the other. They'll be specific in that way. And it's very important that if it does happen to be specific, that you follow that instruction, right? Don't go against it. Don't go against it, because part of your path, especially if you have to go on an ancestral journey, right? Part of that happening the way that it's supposed to happen, and you basically getting the messages that you're supposed to get, is really that you follow the instructions that you're given, the instructions from your own ancestors, not instructions from anybody, not from a person, but from your ancestors. And that's why it's important to do the prayers, to be consistent, to keep on doing them. Don't just, after the 7 days, then you don't pray anymore. Then you're just this person that's just chilling. I had words with someone close to me over yesterday, and I was asking Gucci, and then where's your candles? Where's your this? Where's your that? Where's your things to pray? Why? My granny was telling me this morning, Gucci, when you're not praying, what's happening? What's happening with you? And then they're just like, no, giving me all these excuses, and then they say, no, I prayed in my heart. Oh gosh, I can't even forget. That's how deep it was for me. I can't even forget it. Gucci told me that no, they pray in the heart. I'm like, You pray in your heart. We all pray in our heart when we pray, but what? That's why I said you guys make me tired a little bit sometimes. Sure, not you guys, not all of you. Just like the people that know me, people that I've spoken to before in my life. But it's very, very intentional. So that cleansing. So we're talking about cleansing. So that cleansing, be very clear on the type of cleansing that you will allow to be done for you, to you, anything like that. Because it really will be the difference between things, clearing up for you and getting to a point where you are able to see the messages that you want to see, or just taking you 10 steps back, or nothing happening and you just being in the same position that you've been, right? And then those will be the options, right? When we're talking about prophetic or traditional medicines, right? But then river water, guys, let me tell you about river water. River water is, especially manzamba, it's like the loud one. Those man, very, very, very powerful for cleansing. You can even use it. You ideally for me, someone who is just starting out, I'd always encourage them, whether I'm going to be doing the cleansing or someone else, but first just wash with river water by itself. I would imagine first wash with river water by itself. Don't add anything. Don't, just river water by itself. Pray. Manzamba are very good for washing away negative energies, for cleansing your your spiritual aura, giving you clarity of dreams, making sure that you don't, that you're protected from spiritual attacks, making sure that your dreams come to you clear and concise and you can act on them, making sure that you remember them, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay. So river water is powerful in such a way that you can be at a river and not necessarily even go inside the water, but you will feel a little bit of a shift in you. And when you are in the water, or you are going to be the person cleansing, or getting a cleansing, or giving a cleansing, I always stress prayer, guys, and I always will, because like my granny tried to remind me the other day. Didn't try, actually, she reminded me the other day, pray over everything, even if you think it's something small. Pray over it, pray over it, pray, because I always like to tell people, yes, look, as healers, we wouldn't be given these processes and things if we weren't supposed to use them, if they weren't supposed to help, right? They do. But without that prayer, without nothing works without a prayer. Let me just say it like that. Really, it's that simple. Things don't work without prayer. Things that you don't speak over, it won't work. Things that you don't speak over positively, it won't work. It won't. I'm a firm believer. It won't. Speak over things. Speak over things. Pray over everything. Pray over everything. No matter how small you feel it is, pray over it. Okay? And if your spirit tells you, even if someone says, and you're consulting someone says you need a cleansing, and you feel like you also want a cleansing, but they are just insist that they don't use anything, especially if it's your first time. So you don't have to use anything if it's your first time going to the river. Just if you go into the river and you're going with a healer, and the person's going to pray over you, then that's all. That's all. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be powerful. You will feel the shift. You will feel the shift in you. And then as you have your own dreams, as you see things for yourself, then you can be in a position to say it. And then as you also do your own research within your family to see, this and this person was like this and this and this. Maybe you had a healer in your family that is trying to reach you through your dreams, and you find out that they didn't use this, and and then you can sort of say, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to. You're going to get into the habit of prayer, but get into the habit of prayer in such a way that you allow the prayers, you allow God, you allow your ancestors to talk to you, and for you to be able to listen, to be able to be in a space where you are receptive to the messages, right? You don't need to do things that people tell you to do because you feel like they're in a better position to advise. Someone can be in a better position to advise you on things, but that's just it, to advise you on things. At the end of the day, ultimately, it's your life, and you're not crazy. You are not crazy. Your feelings are valid. Your intuition is valid. How you want to communicate with your guides is valid. But I also, just in defense of healers, just in defense of people that share messages with people like this, it is our responsibility to give you the advice, to give you the messages that you came for, to share the information that we receive when you're coming to consult, but also take responsibility for the fact that it is on you. The onus is on you to filter that information, to take what resonates, to use your own discernment, use your own intuition, use your own feeling, because you have those feelings for a reason, right? Don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. Okay, be consistent with the prayers. Don't stop at 7 days. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. And I'm telling you, the more that you pray, the more the answers will come to you. The more you'll feel like, actually, I'm seeing, I'm having more and more lucid dreams. I'm seeing more and more of my ancestors. I'm getting more and more instructions to do things. I'm acting upon the things that I'm being shown, and so forth. And you will grow, and you will grow, and you will grow. And it doesn't necessarily mean that just because, even if you do know that you are, or that you should be a healer yourself, yourself, it doesn't mean that you now need to find someone to be with you on your path, like right that instant. No, it just means that you need to work on your spirituality. You need to work on your relationship with your guides. You need to work on your relationship with God. You need to work on your relationship with your spiritual entity, so that they can reach you, so that they can give you instructions. And only when those instructions come, then you can act on them, right? Don't feel compelled to, oh no, and they told me, Guti, I'm going to initiate, so now I need to find a couple or whatever. Being someone who has a gift and always saying is, ultimately you will need to initiate, ultimately at some point. It's not saying right this minute, right? I think I've got that, unless it's a really bad situation, but those are rare. Like, say for instance, someone is bedridden, or they can't walk anymore, or they just, that is another video. That is another video. I feel like if I were to try and talk about it now, it would be so, like, I'd have to cut corners and I wouldn't really be explaining. And actually, that's an important one. Okay, that's an important one that I should do, and I will do it at a later point, because I just don't want you guys to be taken advantage of out there. Okay, please. There's things that you can do on your own at home, and then start to gain the clarity that you need, and then you can go out, okay, and seek people and find the help that you need. And I believe that once you do that, if you start with yourself at home by yourself, and then you really pray over finding a healer, really pray over finding someone to talk to, that when you do find that person, then it will be while you're on the right path. But don't do anything prematurely, and don't feel compelled to make rash decisions, and don't let anyone make you feel terrified that you have to do something. Okay, so take care.